What's going on, guys? Sorry I haven't been active on YouTube. I didn't have internet from like the 16th to the 30th. It was not a good time, but I played some offline games. But now I'm back and ready for War of Spark. I'm playing a new deck that I've been kind of working around with. It kind of came out in RNA, but now that we have some new tools for War, it got a little bit better. But I'll bring into the deck here. So kind of the idea of this deck is just to play a bunch of creatures on the board that are smaller and go wide. And then we have a couple creatures like Cruel Celebrant and Judith that when our creatures die, they deal damage to the opponent. And then we have a few recursion effects like Sorin and Revival that allow us to get creatures back from the graveyard. Starting off with our 1-drops here, we have Hunted Witness. So Hunted Witness, when he dies, he creates a 1/1 soldier. So that just allows us to have a 2-for-1 creature there. Gutterbones is a 2/1 for 1. He enters the battlefield tapped, and then you can pay 1 in a black to return him from your graveyard to your hand. He's just a really good recurable creature that you can play on turn 1. And then we have Lazotep Reaver. He's only a 2-of, but he's a pretty good creature. When he enters the battlefield, amass 1. So if you can play him on turn 2, he can often get you a 2/1 and then a 1/1. He's not as good if you already have a mass or an army token rather, but he's still a good creature on turn 2, especially with Priests of Forgotten Gods. So Priest of the Forgotten Gods can sacrifice 2 creatures, and any number of players lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. This is a really powerful tempo play, and these cards synergize really well together, as well as the other small recurable creatures we have. You also get 2 mana and you draw a card, so it can keep you drawing into your other creatures. Then we have Cruel Celebrant as a 2-of, and Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this can gain you a lot of life and deal a lot of damage if you can just sit it on the board. Also, relevantly with this one, it does count for token creatures as well, so you don't have to worry about that. Like Judith is only non-token creatures. And then we have Pitiless Pontiff. So for 1, you can sacrifice another creature, and then against Death Touch and Indestructible. This is really good. You can just like give it Death Touch to trade with something, and then you get to keep your creature, or you can swing through with it. And then you can use the sacrifice effect in pair with Judith or Cruel Celebrant, and you can sacrifice a bunch of creatures to deal a bunch of damage and hopefully kill your opponent if they're fairly low. And then we have another new card from War of the Spark, Dreadhorde Invasion. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. And then whenever a zombie token you control with 6 power or greater attacks, it gains lifelink. When I first saw this card spoiled, I was like, this card's insane. It's like Bitter Blossom. But it's not as good. If you have no zombie tokens on the board, it is kind of like a Bitter Blossom without flying. Which Bitter Blossom is lose 1 life, get a 1/1 flying fairy rogue. But if you do have the zombie token, it just does a +1/+1 counter, which still can be strong, but it's not as effective. But we are using a lot of sacrifice effects, and we do kind of want our creatures to die, so often we can just throw away the token and then get a new token on the next turn. This card's really powerful, and it's one of my cards from the new set that I really like. I've been having a lot of fun with the mass mechanic. And then we have Militia Bugler. So he has Vigilance, and he's a 2/3. And when he enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a creature with power 2 or less and put it in your hand, and then the rest on the bottom. So I think other than Midnight Reaper, all of our creatures have less than 2 power or 2 power. So he can get pretty much anything. And then speaking of Midnight Reaper, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, he deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. So this keeps us drawing through our deck and keeps us getting more and more creatures. And then we have Judith. So Judith pumps up all our creatures +1/+0, which is really effective to deal some early damage. And then whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. So you can deal to like planeswalkers, creatures, or their face. So these just allow us to get in for a lot of damage. Usually if you can go like 1-drop, 2-drop, and then play a Judith, you can usually win pretty quickly. And then our 4-drop slots, we have Ravenous Chupacabra, which is a classic card. Ravenous Chupacabra, when it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. This card is just a great mid-range creature, as well as you can get it off Militia Burglar, so that's really great. Then we have another card from War of the Spark, which is Sorin. As long as Sorin's on the battlefield, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. And then he has a +2, which is deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, which isn't really why we're playing him. More so for the lifelink effect and the -X. So minus X, return target creature with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature's a vampire in addition to its other types. So pretty much any creature we can get back, super effective. Like if we can get a Militia Burglar and draw some, or Bugler rather, and draw something. Midnight Reaper, Judith getting back is super strong. Sorin is just super like powerful. As well as the lifelink allows you to just like swing in, and then you don't have to worry about racing anymore. You don't have to worry about your life total with Dreadhorde or anything. I really like Sorin a lot. I think he's really strong. And then we just have a Revival and Revenge. The Revenge side isn't too relevant, but we do use it sometimes. It's mostly for the Revival side. Return target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield. And other than Ravenous Chupacabra, most of our creatures are recurable with that, which is really strong. And most of our creatures have powerful ETBs or powerful effects when they're on the board. So you can just use these revival effects in Sword and Revival, and it's just really powerful. And then lastly, we have a Mythic from Warspark, Liliana Dreadhorde General. This is a crazy powerful card. So she says whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card, which is like insanely powerful in our deck. It just keeps us drawing. And then her +1 is create a 2/2 zombie, which can just win you the game just by increasing your board every turn. And then also, when the zombies die, you get to draw, because it isn't non-token creatures, which is pretty insane. And then each player sacrifices 2 creatures is her -4. Since a lot of our creatures are recurable, or we have little tokens that we can sacrifice, this can be really powerful against the mid-range decks, where they're sacrificing big costly creatures, and you're sacrificing small creatures you don't really care about. And then for our lands, we're mostly a white-black deck. So I'm just playing all of the rare lands in Mardu, and then we just have one Clifftop Retreat cut, just because we don't really need the red-white that much. We're more looking for the black-white. And then I'll quickly go over our sideboard. So we have 2 Demystify. This is just dealing for Wilderness Reclamation, other pesky enchantments. Even if you want to deal with like enchantments that are red or blue, it's really powerful. 4 Duress is for dealing with Nexus or any of the control decks. I find there's a lot of that on the ladder right now. So that's kind of what my sideboard's stacked against. 2 Lava Coil for dealing with stuff like Rekindling Phoenix, other recurable threats. 2 Sorceress Spyglass for dealing with Search for Azcanta and Teferi and other annoying planeswalkers. Plaguecrafter's a really good recurable creature. So we can sacrifice little tokens and make them sacrifice planeswalkers or bigger creatures. It's not too good in the main deck right now because a lot of people are running Tamiyo. Yeah, a lot of people are playing Tamiyo. So she says spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. So Plaguecrafter is more of a sideboard card right now. I was playing more in the main deck, but then we have Tybalt. Tybalt says your opponents can't gain life, so it's really good against different decks that are going to gain life, like decks with Absorb or Wild Growth Walker or something. And then also he can create 1/1 Devils that when this creature dies, deal 1 damage to any target. And that kind of synergizes with our deck really nicely. I really like Tybalt in this deck. And he does only cost 3 and 1 reds, so he's pretty easy to cast. And then lastly, we have a Kea. Kea is good for dealing with the different graveyard decks, as well as against mono red and stuff. She's pretty good to exile their 1-cost permanents, as well as gain you some life. I just like having a sideboard KR too. I think she's a really strong early planeswalker, and she's in our colors, so that kind of sums up the deck there. But I'll get into some games here and kind of show you how the deck works. It's a lot of fun, and I've been having some good success with it, so hopefully we can get some wins here. I don't have too many wildcards for Spark, so I unfortunately haven't crafted too many decks, but I've been playing around with some like Jace and the Aristocrats. And there's definitely a few other decks I want to play around with, but just a matter of getting the wildcards I need to complete them. This hand looks pretty good. We have a black source, and turn 1, we are in the play. I really like this hand. We obviously want a 3rd land here, but we should be fine regardless. Depending on what he's playing, sometimes you can just go like turn 1, Priest of the Forgotten Gods, and then it's really powerful. We did draw another land there. It looks like he's on some sort of control build, so I'm just gonna go Dreadhorde here. Dreadhoard's really nice. It doesn't get you a creature the turn it comes down, but if they do kill the creature, then you just keep recurring, and the enchantment tends to be pretty tough to deal with. Oh, look, I just noticed that I did select best of one. This is definitely my first game of the day here. Let's play the Bugler. I'll definitely go to best of 3 after this so we can see some sideboarding. We'll grab the Cruel Celebrant here. Cruel Celebrant's really good because if they board wipe us, they still take a bunch of damage. I'm curious what he's playing. The 4th land actually isn't too bad here. We'll attack in with all. I think we actually just want to play Midnight Reaper here. I'm not sure what he's going to be on, but that way if he kills any of our guys, we can draw some cards, but he might just counter, yeah. We're still in a really good position, though. The nice part, if they counter your spells and they go to the bin, you can sometimes get them back with Revival or Sword. Looks like he is on Esper, though, but he doesn't have the double black to KS us here. The nice part about best of one is the shuffler is a little bit different, so you do get really good hands like this. So here I think we go Bugler. He'll probably counter this, but if we can bait the counter, then we can play Cruel Celebrant. He does know we have it, so he might hold it. But if this resolves, we get to draw another spell, so it's pretty good. The Bugler is good because although he only gets you 1 creature when he comes down, you do get to draw the 2nd creature, so he's technically 2 creatures. He did absorb. We're going to play the Cruel Celebrant here. And then we'll attack him. That way, even if he board wipes, he still loses 4? Yeah, 4. That's unfortunate. He's still at 7, though. We'll see. Oh, okay. We just got it. Yeah, this deck can be really strong, especially if your opponent stumbles at all and you get to just like set up your creatures. It can be really powerful. We'll definitely switch to best of 3 here. I apologize for that, guys. I forgot her name, but I was testing out the 4-drop that gains counters when your creatures die, but I felt she was a little slow. She's like a 1/1 for 4, I think. Plus, now that War of Spark came out, like we have so many options for creatures. This is a really good hand. We have 2 lands. We have Gutter Bones into Lazotep. It'll be interesting to see what our opponent's on. He did play a Blood Crypt. So he might be on something similar, but he could be on something completely weird. That's the interesting part about the new set coming out, is there's so many new brews and stuff you don't really know what's going on. So he might be on the same kind of deck as us, though. I actually just saw Jerry Thompson posted. We're just gonna play Reaper here, just because it's 2 creatures. Jerry Thompson actually posted. He posted a deck that was Aristocrats with this Reaver, and I hadn't tried him out before, but he seems really good. If you play him on 2, he gets you a 1/2 and a 1/1. He's not as powerful if you already have the token, because it's just like put a +1/+1 count on your army and then get a 1/2 for 2, but oh yeah, looks like he is playing something very similar. That's definitely interesting. I think we just want to do this because that way our token doesn't die to like a Judith activation. It's not as powerful, but the nice part is if he swings, we can double block with these. And then even if he gets a Judith activation, it'll only deal 3. That's pretty good for him. I'm not really a fan of Footlight Fiend. Yeah, we are going to do that play I talked about earlier. He does get to draw a card, but his ping just goes to face, so it's kind of useless. I mean, not useless, but it's like, it's not killing any of our creatures. That's a really good draw, though. We can play a Judith of our own. And I think we're just going to hold up blocks. I would like to attack, but he's kind of got us on the back burner. If we can play Sorin next turn, then we can definitely attack. There's his sword. Yeah, it looks like we're in a very similar decks. Get to play a good old mirror here. I'll definitely block a Midnight Reaper here. And then we'll take 2. He does draw a card here, but like, I don't know. I don't think that was a very good attack. If anything, I would have attacked with Judith and then tried to like revive her with Sorin. Maybe he's gonna get the Reaver back, but I mean, if he does that, then his Sorin dies. So I don't know if I like that play. Oh yeah, see, I definitely think his plan was to get the Reaver back. That ended up being pretty good for him. We can't kill Sorin because of Judith activations. We could go... I actually don't hate just playing Sorin. Yeah, if we swing in with our tokens here and then play their Sorin, we can get back. Maybe we just want a revival? Alright, let's attack. See how he blocks. We're definitely going to ping his Sorin. This way we just have no creatures on the board for him to ping. If he's pinging face, that's ideal for us. He does let the Judith go through, though. Interesting. So in that case, we're just going to play Cruel Celebrant here. And then we're going to cast Revival. Getting back this guy. It just gets us 2 creatures. I actually think we're in a pretty good position here. Our blocks are really good, as well as we have the Cruel Celebrant. And then we have Sorin and Liliana, which are crazy powerful cards. Probably the most powerful in our deck. That's a-okay. I wonder if he's playing Fireblade or whatever that card is. The 2-1 or 2-2 haste rather. Footlight Fiend, it's nice because it's black and red, so it's not that much of a splash. I wonder if he's playing like many red cards. Plaguecrafter I don't believe is very good. We'll sacrifice our token here. And we should get a trigger off Celebrant. Possibly? Yeah, okay. That's fine, he killed our Celebrant. We do get to ping his token here. And then if he attacks, we'll definitely block. I think so? Yeah. And we're almost at 6 lands for Liliana. I'm feeling pretty comfortable here. We're probably just going to get back another Reaver. Just have the 2 blockers. And that way our Sorin doesn't die. I'm definitely a big fan of the Reaver. This is one of the first games I've been playing him, and he seems crazy strong. Just playing the, like, a 2 mana card and getting 2 creatures is pretty insane. He is playing the Plaguecrafter in the main deck, though, which is interesting. I'd cut mine off from the main deck. I definitely don't think it's very good in this matchup, just because, like, we would play a Plaguecrafter ourselves here. Is he going face? So I think what his plan is here is he wants to like double ping Sorin, but we just take 2 and don't block his Reaver. Like, we block Plague Corruptor because we don't want to take 4. But now he just like pings our Sorin for 1, and then we just +2 our Sorin and get him out of range. We'll just hit his face. Notably, Judith does have lifelink, so Oh, as long as it's your turn. Okay. Need to read the cards, apparently, but if it is our... I don't like that card at all, either. I definitely looked at that one and thought about it, but... That's fine. That's an insane draw. We do need another creature, but... If you can't find a removal spell to deal with it, we should just win. It's probably one of the best cards in the matchup. Especially when he only has 1 creature on board. Ideally, we draw land, and then we can play Liliana, get the zombie, and then draw 2. Or 3, rather. No blocks. Even if he plays a creature, that's still fine. So we can play Sorin. Get back Judith? Or actually, we can just get back Cruel Celebrant. That way our Sorin rather doesn't die. Target him. Sacrifice, and then that'll deal with his Judith, and we'll gain 2. And there's our 6th land for Liliana. Luckily, with the 2 mana from this, you can actually get your Gutterbones back, since she does make your opponent lose life. And then we don't really need to play Gutterbones this turn. It's not that important. Nice. We got game 1 there. I think our deck is built a little better than his. We definitely want Kea. And probably Tybalt. And Lava Coil. And as far as cuts... We need to cut 5 cards. I don't think the Dread Horde's super good. And then... Midnight Reaper's probably strong. We definitely want Chupacabra. I don't think Pitiless is that good. In this matchup, at least. Hope everybody had a good April, though. I was only with you guys for half the month. But it was kind of fun to play some offline games. This hand's really, really good. We have Gutterbones on 1. Ideally, we'd like a 2-drop and a 3rd land, but we are on the draw, so... And then turn 3, we have Bugler and Tybalt. He didn't even have a turn 1 play. And then we have Lava Coil on 2 now, so we should be in a really good place. Yeah, I've been trying really hard to craft this Aristocrats deck and make it pretty good. I've been having some success with it, but I have been trying quite a few different decks in competitive, so... I haven't just been devoting all my time, so it's not like perfect or anything. And my rank isn't super high, but I have been winning with it. I'm not sure what my win rate is. I haven't checked in a while, but... And not that it really matters. Like, I've been changing the deck up quite a bit recently, so... Celebrant's more than fine. He did have a land. Ooh, but so do we. We're just gonna play Tybalt here. That way he can't gain any life. Not that it really matters, but... That's an interesting block there. We still lose the life, but he doesn't gain any. And then we'll make a Devil. The Devil is so good. Especially if you can do Judith. It double pings, because it pings once from the Devil's ability and once from Judith. I think Tybalt just has really good synergy. Wow, that's a timely Lava Coil there. He might just concede. But we'll see. We're in a really good position right now. We have Judith and Bugler that we can play, and then we have Revival to get him back if we really want to. Here we're just gonna play Judith. If he makes a sacrifice, we don't care in the least, I don't think. That's fine. We can just ping. Oh, I guess I'm talking like I know what I'm saying. Judith is non-token. These are tokens, so it only pings once, which is slightly unfortunate, but there's our 4th land. We can attack all, and then if he blocks Judith, I guess we can resurrect Judith. He might kill our Tybalt though, but we don't really care about that. I actually don't hate just going Sorin +2. Having a Sorin at 6 on an empty board is pretty strong. Like, Sorin's +2 ability isn't too relevant, but you can whittle down your opponent a little bit, and then it does gain you some life, so it's pretty strong. Especially, like, our opponent's only at 8, and his creatures are quite small. If he does just get Judith back, we can actually use our Sorin to ping. That is the nice part about Sorin, is you can, like, deal with planeswalkers that are 1 loyalty. He got back his Celebrant. We can go get back Judith. And then we can play a Celebrant. He's pretty darn low, so we should just be able to kill him fairly soon. I assume he blocks here? Yeah. Which is fine. We're gonna ping his Sorin so we can't get his Celebrant back, and then he takes 1, I believe, from this. I don't want to revival anything. We'll see what he has. We should be in a good position here, though. He deals 1 to our Sorin. Interesting. So we can revival as well as play a 3-drop. We'll ping him, I think. No, we'll ping a Sorin. That way he can't get back his Judith. And then we'll play Midnight Reaper just because we have these non-token creatures that we can attack in with. And then we can just get back whichever one he kills or whatever. He might double block here, which is A-okay. And then we can just get back our Judith and we should have the game here. He goes to 7. And our board is much more impressive, and we also have like a lot more card advantage. There's a Judith there. Not to mention our card quality seems a little bit stronger than his. Like all of the cards like Bugler and Judith and stuff and Midnight Reaper that we've been drawing compared to his like small Celebrants, and I don't know, Priest isn't that good here. Priest can be good if you can set up an early advantage, like you can go 1-drop Priest and then play something else on 3. But we drew the Lava Coils, so that was pretty good for us. He might have been able to take over the game if we had something else going on, but looked like it went pretty well for us. We'll attack in with these, and then hopefully we can just play Bugler. But yeah, the nice part about a lot of these cards is you can kind of just keep the creatures rolling. There's a Chupacabra. I think we should have it though. Especially any creature he kills here, we draw a card and deal 2 to him, so. And then we have Sorin as well. What do you got, opponent? Another Sorin? That's fine. Yeah, okay, he's done. Nice. That was a really good one. We beat the mirror 2-0. Let's get into another one here. All right, all right. Play first. This hand looks pretty good. We have 2 1-drops, and then we have a Midnight Reaper into Sorin. I do like playing Gutter Bones instead of Hunted Witness if I am playing first, just because he does deal 2 damage versus Hunted's 1. That's a pretty good draw as well. We do need a 4th land, of course, but we should be able to get it off Midnight Reaper. Assuming he resolves. We are in the play, so our opponent shouldn't have like Sinister Sabotage or anything, especially because he's playing Growth Chamber. Yeah, let's just play Reaper here. Priest would be pretty good here, but at the same time, like if I play the Priest and he kills it, it's just like such a tempo loss. Whereas if I played this, I actually don't mind double blocking here. If he attacks, yeah, okay, he didn't attack. That's a really good draw for us. Fortunately, we don't have the land, but we can attack in with these 2. I think he forgot about the Judith ping. We do get to draw a card as well. Dreadhoard's not bad here. And he can't play and adapt that. If we can draw another... or if we can just get a land from our library. I think we have a... Oh no, we don't have a basic. Oops. That's fine. We do get to draw a card though. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So now we can just Chupacabra, and we should have enough tempo here that we should just be able to win. He has a Chupacabra of his own, but we do get to draw off that. And him playing Chupacabra makes me think that he might not have another removal spell. Judith is a little bit awkward just because we only have 4 mana. I wish we could play 2 things. We could Revival or Judith and then play Priest, though. I like that play. We don't really need Midnight Reaper anymore because we have a lot of cards. But this way it gives him 2 threats he kind of needs to deal with here. And if he blocks either of these creatures, then that's still pretty good for us. He goes to 4, and then Judith kind of threatens lethal. If he plays any sort of creature, then we just Priest him. Even if he uses removal, it's not that bad. We're just gonna decline. We know we don't have any basic lands in our deck. I might have to switch up the mana base a little bit just so we have... there's a 5th land. Just so we have some more swamps if... Like, Assassin's Trophy hasn't played that much, but... We should have our opponent here because he dies from the Judith ping. Nice. Yeah, just digging for a basic swamp is sometimes pretty good. And obviously we are mostly... We have a few red cards on the sideboard, but we only have 7 red cards in total. But here... Plaguecrafter's probably good. Take out 1 Bugler. And then... I don't really know what he's on. He's kind of playing a weird deck. Let's cut a... Liliana might be kind of expensive. He might be on like a Sultai control deck, but I'm not too sure. This is fine. We don't have a 1-drop, but maybe we can draw one. We do have 2 lands and then some powerful 2-drops, so. I feel like the only really card we saw from him was Growth Chamber Guardian. Bugler's good if we can draw another land here. I'm gonna play the Priest. If he just plays a creature here, then we can go Lazotep and then make him sacrifice it. That's really strong for us. Because that lets us sacrifice and then we can actually revival back. Or we could play... Yeah, actually I think the only option we have is doing that because this is black-white. We're going to sacrifice this unless we draw something. Oh, so target player, submit, creatures. Yeah, the nice part about the Reaper is they usually don't expect you to have the 2 creatures. We did draw another land there, which is nice. We could actually go Midnight Reaper. I actually don't hate that. It develops our board a bit. And then if he kills our Priest, at least we draw a card, which is fine. Gutter Bones. So the fact that he played Chupacabra makes me think he doesn't have another removal. We could actually just go something like Witness here and then Revival our Priest. And then we'll see if we can get in here for some damage. If he blocks, it's fine. We still draw a card. And then ideally we'll get another land. Judith's pretty good though. Yeah, he's looking for a permanent. He might have like a cast down or something, but nice. We did get the 4th land there. I don't think he'll be on a negate. We're gonna try to cast Sorin here. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna revive the Reaper, or the Reaver, sorry. Get 2 creatures, and then activate our Priest here. Target him. Actually, sorry, we want to do that on his turn, or no, because then we can. I'm just trying to think, because either we can play our Gutter Bones, which isn't super strong. I think we just wait. This way he's forced to kill the Priest. If he goes something like a Chupacabra, we can kill it in response to the ability. And if he's just on like playing Hydroid Crisis, then we just sacrifice to Priest and we should have the tempo advantage. Hostage Taker is fine. So in response to the ability, we just activate. Target him. It's good that we waited. Almost a little misplay. I did take some time off in April, so I'm a little bit rusty, but yeah, and then the ability just fizzles. I don't think, yeah, he doesn't have anything else. So we're just gonna keep +1ing Sorin. The nice part about the Priest is you can kind of use it to ramp a little bit. We are just gonna play a few things here. We're gonna play Judith and Gutter Bones, and then we're gonna get back our Gutter Bones, sacrificing our Hunted Witness and our Gutter Bones. And that'll allow us to deal some damage, as well as draw a card. Actually, we can play Bugler here. That's fun. We'll take the second Judith here. I think we're in a really good position, though. He did just play a Crisis. I think we should just win. So what we can do is get back our Reaver, which allows us to get 2 creatures, and then we can sacrifice, targeting him. If you can get the Priest on deck, it's super powerful. It pretty much allows them to not play any creatures if they're only playing 1 creature a turn. Now we have 2 extra mana. We can play Midnight Reaper. And then I'm gonna play the Pitiless Pontiff. And then we can leave mana open and sacrifice things at the end of his turn if we'd like. We're gonna attack him, putting him down to 6. And then we'll just pass the turn. We should have the win here. Nice. Alright, so those were some great games, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little deck tech there and enjoyed watching some games. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed this Aristocrat deck. I think it's pretty competitive, and I'd really recommend you to build it if you have some extra wild cards. But if you did like the video, feel free to hit like, and if you want to see more content from me as I release it, hit that subscribe button. Again, I apologize I didn't really post anything in April, but I'm going to be back on schedule posting things in this month, so I hope to see you guys in the next few videos, and have a great day. See ya!